What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners video for today's 12-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Awesemo.com. And we've got a lot of games to choose from today, so the likes mean more than ever, the support means more than ever, so like this video right now, and leave a comment down below. It's a big slate, so it's time to guess your double dong pick. Who hits 2 home runs today? You got 12 teams, a lot of players available. Somebody's going to hit 2 home runs. Hopefully this video will help you figure out who that person is, but right now, like this video and comment your double dong pick down below. The first corner I want to hit on are the top pitching options on today's slate, and Chris Sale going against Colorado is going to be the #1 owned guy industry-wide. He gets 3.3 implied runs against him, and it'll have 46% ownership on DK, 30% on FanDuel, and 53% on Yahoo, which again will make him the #1 owned guy everywhere. Sale has shown signs of life recently with 14 Ks and 10 Ks in his last 2 starts versus Baltimore and the White Sox, but this Colorado lineup has a lot of danger with 5 hitters above a 204 ISO versus left-hand pitching. Guys like Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado have really, really good numbers versus lefties, so I think there is risk here for Sale, a guy who doesn't look all the way there, but people are going to assume he is after box score chasing these last 2 starts. I think Sale's fine, have some exposure to. I will have a good amount, but probably less than the field here because I think Colorado is offering a decent opportunity against him. Maybe some leverage stacks for Colorado could be in order. Clayton Kershaw versus San Diego will also be pretty popular today with 3.1 implied runs against him, which is tied for lowest on today's slate. He's going to be the #2 owned option industry-wide versus a San Diego team with a 25.6% K rate versus left-hand pitching. Franmil Reyes, Manny Machado, and Hunter Renfroe can pose some issues, and they caused Kershaw's last matchup versus San Diego to go sideways. And Kershaw does have a 42.7% hard contact allowed on the year, which those guys can take advantage of. The Vegas total does support Kershaw getting on track, and he's been steady this year, so I don't mind him today. He's not a guy I'm dying to get to. I think there is really some risk for him against these Padres. They did just see him a couple weeks ago as well, so I don't mind Kershaw, but a guy, again, I'm not totally in love with. Charlie Morton at Miami also gets 3.1 implied runs against him, and Miami does have a .089 ISO and a 27.1% K rate versus right-hand pitching on the year. Morton has thrown over 100 pitches in 2 out of his last 3 starts, and his 12.3% swing strike rate and 11.4 Ks per 9 can be valuable at lower ownership if Kershaw and Sale struggle, so I think Morton's a play I will get to a decent amount of, probably in line with both Sale and Kershaw, because I think Morton is a guy who has the same upside, but will probably be significantly under-owned compared to those two. The next corner I want to hit on are the top stacks on today's slate, and the Houston stack going against Ryan Carpenter will be a popular option today. They get 6.1 implied runs for them, which is the highest on today's slate, and Carpenter's been terrible going back to last year, with 13.8 hits per 9 allowed and a 7.8% home run rate. Carpenter's slightly worse versus lefties, but should offer a ton of opportunity to both sides of the plate, and a Houston lineup who just worked a much better pitcher in Matt Boyd yesterday. Carpenter is not good. Houston's very good. The run total really supports it. So I think Houston, no matter the price, I'm going to force on a lot of stacks today there because I think this matchup here versus Carpenter is about as good as you're going to find today. Kansas City stack versus Shelby Miller also appeals to me with 5.1 implied runs for them. And Miller's been unable to miss bats this year with a 6.6% swing strike rate and a 1.9 whip. Kansas City's been priced up because they've had solid production on the year with the top 6 guys all showing some fantasy value. But even the guys like Martin Maldonado, who's not very good at catcher, is cheap enough to have in a stack. I don't mind a stack today. I'm probably going to get to them in a bunch of different ways because Shelby Miller has been that bad. He's worth attacking in a variety of ways. And a Boston stack versus Kyle Freeland also looks pretty good with 5.2 implied runs in their favor. And Freeland's been a bit worse than last year with 41.8% hard contact, resulting in a 4.5% home run rate, which is up from 2.5% going back to last year. Mookie Betts and JD Martinez are the most appealing options, and it may be more of a mini stack than a full stack given the pricing and some easier pitching matchups out there to target. I think Freeland's not a bad pitcher. He's a guy who's not great. He's a guy who can be gotten to by his Boston lineup. But I think, again, I'd prefer some smaller stacks than the full stack here because I think Freeland's okay enough to not have a ton of damage against them. The next corner I want to hit on are some of the lower owned options on today's slate, and Caleb Smith going against Tampa Bay is one of those guys. He gets 3.4 implied runs against him, and Tampa Bay has a 30.6% K rate and 143 ISO versus left-hand pitching on the year. The Vegas total does support a pitcher's duel here with Smith stuffing at an elite level this year with a 16.7% swing strike rate, 37.5% chase rate, and an 11.8 Ks per 9 number, which are up there with anybody in the league right now. Smith's a guy I'm going to keep touting. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite pitchers to watch this year because in Miami, people don't respect him a ton, but Tampa Bay, a good lineup, but not as good versus lefties, and Caleb Smith's stuff is good enough where you can have a really nice day here. An Oakland stack versus Mike Leake also looks pretty good with 4.6 implied runs in their favor, and Leake has a poor 8% swinging strike rate on the year and a massive 5.3% home run rate allowed. The prices for Oakland are very reasonable despite everyone from Jurickson Profar down to Ramon Laureano substantially above league average in home run rate versus right-hand pitching. I think there's a lot of guys you can go to here. One who I'll single out a little bit later in the video, but a lot of ways you can attack this spot here. I think Oakland looks really strong today, and they're probably going to go a little bit under-owned. Minnesota stack versus projected long reliever Felix Pena also interests me with 4.8 implied runs for them. Minnesota's prices are down with Pena mostly solid so far this year with a .92 whip and 13% swing strike rate. Minnesota does have a slate high 236 ISO versus right-hand pitching, while Pena struggles versus lefties with a 1.4 whip and 9.3 hits per 9 allowed compared to a .92 whip at 6.7 hits per 9 allowed versus righties, which should be a benefit for guys like Max Kepler and Jorge Polanco up top. Minnesota's been hitting versus everybody, so Felix Pena's not a guy I'm afraid of. Neither is the projected projected opener, Camp Bedrosian. I think there's a lot of reasons to go to Minnesota today, especially with their price coming down a little bit, despite a lot of production for them on the year. And Trent Thornton at San Francisco is also a guy I'm interested in today with 4 implied runs against him. He doesn't have great stuff, but he's at a cheap price versus a San Francisco team that has a 226 batting average and a 24% K rate versus right-hand pitching on the year. Thornton feels a bit flimsy, and an argument can be made for San Francisco sacks too, but at 9.4 Ks per 9 at his price, I think Thornton in a pitcher's park at low ownership makes for an interesting combination of factors. Thornton's a guy who's not fantastic on the year, but he might be good enough to get past the San Francisco lineup, who really isn't that good. And the last corner I want to hit on today are the one-offs on today's slate, and Ryan O'Hearn going against Shelby Miller is a guy who appeals to me. O'Hearn hasn't hit as well to start the season, but he's cheaper as a result, and he has a 304 ISO and a 5.8% home run rate versus right-hand pitching going back to last year. Miller allows 55% hard contact and a 5.1% home run rate to lefties. O'Hearn has not hit as well in the year. He is due for some positive regression, and I think the spot versus Shelby Miller is about as good of one as you'll find for him to get back on track. Nick Castellanos versus Wade Miley also appeals to me today, with Castellanos at a reasonable price with a 381 batting average and a 178 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching. Miley isn't appreciably better this year despite some better results, and he actually may find some ownership today with people chasing some of his recent decent games in the spot here versus Detroit. Castellanos is a guy who I like. His numbers really do jump off the page today, so I think he can be an interesting leverage play if Miley does pick up ownership throughout the day. And I mentioned the Oakland stack earlier, but Chris Davis versus Mike Leake is a guy who really jumps off the page to me. Davis is back on track as of yesterday with a 2-home run day after his injuries, but he's still priced down despite a 7.3% home run rate versus right-hand pitching and a matchup versus a very homer-prone Leake here. So I think the spot for Chris Davis is good to continue his momentum. He's a guy who can always hit home runs at any time, no matter if he's cold or hot. So I think Davis is a guy I like a lot with his price still down because of his recent injuries. So there are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, like this video and leave a comment down below with your pick as to who hits a double dong today. You got 12 games today, a lot of teams in action, so somebody's going to do it. If you're right, you get a special shout out in tomorrow's video. So like the video right now and comment your double dong pick down below. And use the promo code SWITCHANDHEDGE for half off your first month of any awesemo.com package. All the ownership projections, rankings, the daily deep dive column, which is a fantastic other way to help build you lineups along with this video. So check that out now. Use the promo code SWITCHANDHEDGE for half off your first month of any package. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another Four Corners video, so good luck.